Alright, so hopefully this won't be too shaky, but I'm going to start with a layout tour. This is back on the end of the layout right before the door into the attic, and this is my Ford auto plant, background flat, and you can see I've got the 4 auto racks, or rather the 3 auto racks parked in there. That's where I'm going to store those. Theory being that somewhere off the layout the cars get loaded on there. So you don't have to see everything, use your imagination. Then down, as we scan down in front of that, you can see there's a shed there which is part of the lumber yard. So I'm going to have some of my lumber stored in that area. I've got right now just some trailers and a tractor sitting out front there. But you can then see where the lumber mill is itself. I've got my wood chip cars sitting on a siding. And that little building on top that's painted dark blue is kind of the wood chip evacuation loading facility there. So that's how that happens. The lumber mill itself has a pull-through track, and let me just take the camera off of the tripod here so we can get. I can't really zoom in with my cell phone, but you get the idea. So here, there's the pull-through siding. I've got a couple of turnouts back here. The first one takes the traffic off of the main line, and then I have another turnout here which splits into the run-through siding that goes through the mill, and then this siding here, which is where the wood chip loading happens. Down here at the end, I have a small warehouse with a couple of truck bays. On the other side, which you can't really see, there are 2 loading doors for cars. This little building, I think I talked about it before, this silo here is made out of a piece of scrap I found around the neighborhood. I think it looks good. I don't know if it's going there or not, but it was free. So down here, I've got turnout junction, I guess I'll call it. There is one turnout here which is part of my crossover between the 2 main lines. I have a 3-way turnout here, one of which services that siding back by the auto rack, or the auto plant, and the middle spur is the outside main, which goes up the hill to the bridge. Right behind the 3-way, there's another turnout here, which is the end of the crossover going the other direction between the outside main and the inside main. So this line right here is the crossover. So it's, I don't know what that is, it's a couple of feet long there, and it's long enough and far enough away from the main lines that you can actually stage cars there if you need to. Immediately behind that turnout is another one. So immediately behind that turnout is another one which services my grain facility here. Single turnout. There's probably, I don't know, room for 3 cars in there, I guess. Coming back then to the right, we cross the double bridge. 2 main lines going across the bridge. Back into the corner here where the country church scene is, and I think I've shown that before. That's about the only area on the layout that I think I'm just going to leave alone. I believe it's finished. The outside main continues on up the hill and back then in front of the coal mine, and there's a spur right about mid-shot there that services the coal mine. Coming back down, pick up the inside main here at the end of the bridge. It comes across behind the engine facility, and then there's the first turnout by the freight station services track 1. I'll call it track 1 of the intermodal facility where that gray box is. And then track 2 is, sorry about all the mess here, track 2 is here. So the MyJack crane that I have will span these 2 tracks, and that'll be loading and unloading of intermodal cars. Down here at the end, this end of the yard, I'm going to have a small check-in, check-out facility here. It's a small yard, don't need a big facility. There'll be a road here on the left side of this gate, which will continue the whole way down the edge of the layout here, and go back into that area to the left of the small red shed there, and I'll have trailer storage there. So there'll be a roadway the whole way down, and the roadway will come across the corner. I'll have to build up a section here, maybe put in a short bridge, and it'll connect with this street here. But what I'm going to do here, which is new, I've got a turnout positioned right here. So just to the right of the road, I'm going to put that turnout in, and it is going to service my heavy equipment facility. So the surprise is we're going to have street running in this section. I've just got this placed in here now. It's not glued or anything. It's just placed in there very roughly. I found this stuff on eBay. I think it's a company called Pennsylvania Industries. I'll go ahead and put the link in the video for this as well. And what it is, it's a 4-piece section of street, which as you can see surrounds a piece of flex track. So the way this works is, and this is the cobblestone version. They have gray and they have red. I went ahead and purchased gray, but it's a 4-piece unit. Let's see if I can get this centerpiece out of here. And you start with a little tray piece that's 6 inches long, and it sits on the bottom. It's basically the roadbed. Then you lay the flex track inside of that, and with my kit I got 30 inches of street. I actually got an extra one down there, so I'm not sure if it was a mistake or not. But the way this works is you lay the track in there, and then you take your first section of cobblestone and you attach it to that side. The second section of cobblestone attaches to this side, and then there's a centerpiece which you glue between the rails. And once it's all glued and set in there nicely, you know, it's going to look pretty good. You can see this section down here is a little bit better. So I'm going to have just a bit of street running, and the thought here on putting it in that area is where the utility knife is there, is where I had my heavy equipment sales and service. So I thought I could incorporate a little bit of street running, terminating into a loading dock area where I can run the equipment onto and off of flat cars. So that's the thought. I'm going to go ahead and try and get this done tonight, but just wanted to show you what my plan was for that. Back to the rest of the layout here again. There's the turnout, and that's on the outside main now, that services the coal yard. Right now I just have all the stuff from my equipment sales piled in there, but I can do 13 hopper cars, which you see there. I may at some point dress that up a little bit so it looks like it's not just sitting in the corner. I may try and put a rock wall in there, maybe some mirrors, so it looks like the cars are going back into the wall. Haven't decided on that, but that can wait. That's down the hill, down the road a ways. Panning around here, what you don't see here is the town, which I've taken off. And this track is not going to be there. It's just sitting there right now. But this is where the buildings go for the town in this section, and the backs of them will face that street. And so the inside main then comes across the bridge in front of the door to the attic, and the outside main, as you can see, comes down the hill from the coal yard in front of the newly placed mountain. So that's it. That's pretty much a tour of the layout. I wanted to show you what I've been using here to hold the cell phone, and this is kind of a crazy invention, but I don't know if you've ever seen those vent grips to hold a GPS in your car. They actually stick in the vent, the air vent. You push this around the vent in your car, and then this section here is spring-loaded, and it's made to hold a GPS. So what I did is I adapted this thing, ran the screw from my from my tripod, this holder piece here, drilled a hole in there, and then I can fix my camera in there, and it holds it steady. So that's how I filmed the first section of the video, is with that in there. And as you can see, this piece tilts, so I can tilt it until I get this sitting horizontally, and you're not looking at the video like this. So but anyway, that's going to be the layout update for tonight. Oh no, it's not. Let me stop the video and show you a couple other things. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you really quickly. I don't know if you can see this package very well. These are some wood shapes that I got from Michael's, I believe, and there are, I don't know, a bunch in here. Looks like 2 layers of 36, so there's 72 of them in here, and they're about 3/8 of an inch, I would say, square, which in layman's HO terms is about 4 by 4. So what I'm going to use these for are gaylords, and a gaylord is a 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot container, which is used a lot in plastics processing or other industries that have a need for a bulk packaging container. So what I'm going to do here is paint these sort of a khaki color, a cardboard color, and then just take a very thin magic marker and draw black lines on here to simulate strapping. So didn't have enough time to get to that this evening, but that's the plan here. And I think this was $2 for 72 containers. So they can go on docks, they can go inside boxcars, they can go inside gondolas, wherever you want to put them, lash them down to a flat car, whatever. So the second thing I wanted to show you is, obviously this is an intermodal car, well car that I have here, and obviously a container in there. So I found this stuff. It's by Limax, who are the guys that make all of the holiday figures and houses and that kind of thing. Michael's had their Halloween displays out, and this stuff is called Sticky Max. And what it is, if you can get the container open, it's a material that is adhesive, and you can just take a little bit of this, and it's not it's not real warm right now, so it's hard to scoop out. But the plan here is that you need something to stick your intermodal containers together so they don't fall off. So this stuff is not permanent, so you can take a little bit on your finger and you can put it on the corners of the containers. There we go. And again, it's not permanent, so it'll come off, but just put a little bit on each corner. And then when you set your intermodal containers together, for the ones that don't have the little pins that hold them nice and sturdy, that's going to keep them from falling off. So you can see there's a pretty good shaking going on there. So I was pleased to find that. I think it was only like $2. Again, it's by Limax, and it's called Sticky Max. So look for that at your craft stores. Where I found it again was in an area where they had a Halloween village display, and it's made to put on the base of figures, people in your display, because you set them down, they always fall over. So you can just grab some of this, put it on the bottom of the stand for the person, and jam them down on your display, and they don't fall over. So I was really pleased to get that, because I had been thinking about putting magnets in. I was thinking about maybe even permanently affixing a couple of containers together. But this way, you can just kind of grab what you've got, put that on there, and again, it's not going to fall off. There's a, pretty good. So that's all I wanted to show you were those two things. Again, appreciate all the subscriptions. I think I passed 900 here recently, which isn't really important. The number of subscribers isn't important. What's important is that there are 900 people who think that I've got something to share, and that really is humbling. That that many folks could want to watch what I do and actually enjoy watching me do it. So that being said, I'm going to cut this off for tonight because I've got I don't want the videos to run too long here. It's tough to watch a lengthy video. I did want to give a big shout out to Thomas McEwen. He has his YouTube channel. It is TN Shortline Fan. If you're not a subscriber of his, I would recommend that you do so. This past week, I went down and I visited Thomas's layout, and he wanted me to give him some techniques on background painting, which I'm guessing is still in the shot. And I was glad he didn't really want me to paint his backdrop. He just wanted me to give him some tips, because the whole way down there I was thinking, oh man, if he asks me to paint and I screw it up, I'll be in big trouble. But I know Thomas was going to try and get some of that backdrop done and put a video up. So hopefully shortly we'll be watching Thomas paint his backdrop, with the technique that I used. And the reason I wanted to say that was that while I was there, Thomas had received some donations from a hobby shop that went out of business, and also from a friend who was getting out of the hobby, and he had a couple of bins of stuff there, primarily scenery materials. But he told me to open up the bin and go through it. So I don't have time to show that tonight. It's actually not in the train room here, but on the next video we're going to go through that. I'm going to try and start doing some other scenery here. So we'll go through that. We'll look at what Thomas has so graciously given me. And in addition to the scenery materials, there were 2 pieces of rolling stock, 1 kit, which was a 40-foot tank car, which is a little bit too old for Thomas's era. And the second thing he gave me was a covered hopper car, which was weathered. I think it was Santa Fe, and he does the Nashville and Eastern, which I don't think has any Santa Fe rolling stock on it, and probably no covered hoppers. But so anyway, I was truly truly appreciative of everything that he gave me, and enjoyed my visit to his layout. And he's making some great progress there with getting his scenery done, kind of like one section at a time. And again, if you're not a subscriber, look up his channel, and I'll put a link to it here in the video, and subscribe to him. He's got a great layout, and is into really getting down to doing scenery now. So all right, enough rambling. I'm going to sign off, and we will talk at you soon.